Hello, boys and girls. Our big book today, titled Mrs. McNosh Hangs Up Her Wash. Notice how she has a clothesline hanging up, and she's going to hang her wet laundry outside to dry. So I thought I would tie a clothesline up in our room, and I've got clothespins on it. And we'll see if we have some of the matching things that she hangs up on her clothesline. This is a very silly story. Mrs. McNosh hangs up her wash. Boys and girls, when we finish with the story, we're going to see if we can answer three big questions. Who is the main character in the story? Where does the story take place? And what exactly happens? Notice these questions start with the WH sound. Who, where, what? Each Monday at dawn, Mrs. Nellie McNosh brings out a barrel and does a big wash. In the old days, boys and girls, people used to wash their clothes outside in a barrel, and they would use this scrubbing board to wash it. It takes her all morning, and when the sun's high, she hangs what she's washed on the clothesline to dry. She hangs up the dresses, she hangs up the shirts, she hangs up the underwear, nightgown, and skirts. I'm going to hang up. I found a dress we could hang up and a shirt, but I had no underwear or skirts. You'll have to use your imagination for those. She hangs up the stockings. She hangs up the shoes. She wrings out the paper, and she hangs up the news. Here's the shoes, and notice that it rhymes with news. Maybe we'll have to hang them and turn them so that you can see them hanging this way. Oops. She's got a lot of clothes to hang up to dry. She hangs up, oh my goodness, the dog and his dish and his bone. She gets a wrong number and hangs up the phone. The dog, his dish, and a bone. Well, it is very odd to hang up your dog and his bone, and very unusual to hang up a phone. She hangs up a hat and an old wedding gown, two sleepy bats, which she hangs upside down. I did find a bat. Let's hang him upside down. That's how bats like to sleep, remember we learned. She hangs up a lamp and a large Christmas wreath and Grandpa McNosh's removable teeth. Let's see, we have a lamp and we also have the teeth. Very odd. I've never seen a lamp hanging out. And here's our Christmas wreath, which rhymes with teeth. Do you know sometimes kindergartners, grandmas, and grandpas have false teeth, and they can take them out, but we usually don't hang them on a clothesline. She hangs up a kite by the tip of its tail. The postman arrives, and she hangs up the mail. A kite and the mail. We'll get the kite hung up by the tip of its tail, and the letter will hang up the mail. She hangs till she's hung every last thing in sight, including the turkey she's roasting that night. Look at the garbage can. Each Monday by dusk, Mrs. Nellie McNosh has finally hung up the last of her wash. We'll hang up the turkey My goodness. She takes off her apron and lets down her hair. Then, you won't believe this, boys and girls, then hangs herself up in a comfortable chair. And I have a picture we can hang of Mrs. Nellie McNosh. Look at all the things she's hung from her wash. Boys and girls, we said that at the end of the story we would answer these 3 questions. Who was it about? So think to yourself, who was the main character? And kiss your brain if you remember, it's Mrs. McNosh. Kissing your brain, she hung up her wash. Where does the story take place? That's called the setting of the story. Can you say that with me? The setting. She hangs things up outside in her yard. And what was the story mainly about? That's like the main idea. Well, it's about Mrs. McNosh, how she hangs up all of her wash. And boys and girls, this is an example of make-believe, but they added some humor to it. Make-believe stories are very fun to read because they have pretend things in them, and they're sometimes very, very funny or silly. Boys and girls, today you're going to write about who the story was about, where it took place, and what happens. Have fun writing.